I will be running the meeting.
Okay.
And we'll start the recording in a bit when everyone is here.
Sounds good.
Yep. Hold on. It's recording now. Yes. Good afternoon, Commissioner Donahue.
Good afternoon. I'm just looking at what you sent me.
So as Alan mentioned, I am handling the meeting for this week. Joyce out of the office. And as you mentioned, Commissioner, I've sent you a batch of documents. Apologies for just getting those to you just before the meeting. There's some materials that we received this week, actually just yesterday. So we wanted to have a chance to review them and make sure they were good to go before we forward those over to you. So you now have those documents. We're going to reference those during the meeting. We're not going to necessarily go into detail with them, but just reference them. Yeah. So we'll get started when you say go. I know folks are joining.
Okay. I just sent everyone a text reminder, and I'm in the process of forwarding this off to the group.
Okay.
And I'm just looking through the people on this list. Who's RNJ? Can they please identify yourself?
They're not on yet. That's Ron and Jasmine.
Okay.
And do you want us to get started, Commissioner Donahue?
Yeah, hold on one second. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get everyone's email address. Hold on one second. Sorry for the delay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're just waiting.
Waiting on me.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. I went ahead and to all the residents, I went ahead and emailed you the documents that I just received as well from Mr. Briggs of DC Water. Good afternoon, everyone. As you all know, my name is Tom Donnie. I'm the ANC Commissioner for 8A01. Today is our third or fourth resident neighborhood meeting regarding the backup that occurred on Fairlawn, resulting in several of our residents being displaced and needing to have emergency remediation to their house. I will pass it over to Mr. Briggs for an update summary, and as I continue to look through some of this information you sent over.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And I do apologize. I'm trying to make my camera turn on and it doesn't want to comply with me. But I'm Emmanuel Briggs. As Commissioner Donahue mentioned, I am standing in for Joyce this week. She is out of the office. So thank you for joining this call today. We have our usual gang on the line in terms of DC Water. There's a number of documents, to Commissioner Donahue's point, that we were able to send just before the meeting. Apologies for that. We received some of those documents a little closer, a little later in the week this week than planned, but we wanted to have some time to review things internally and make sure they were good to go to be released to you. So we were able to do that. We will reference, we'll touch on these documents during the discussion. This meeting is being recorded. As Joyce has been doing with these meetings, they are being recorded, and I'll make sure I get the link over to Commissioner Donahue as we have been doing. With that said, I'm going to kick things over to Alan, who will start off with giving us kind of a brief synopsis of where the project is, as well as referencing some of those attachments that you have received, some of those documents. So take it away, Alan.
Alan Salas, DC Water project manager for the site. So I guess in terms of the project this week, the progress, they continue the cleaning of the pipe. It seems that we might start the repair operations in the coming weeks, so we'll definitely let you know when that starts. But for now, they're still just finalizing the cleaning of the pipe, just preparing it before the geopolymer application. So that's on, that's going to be for the next week. And then also this week, it also happened. And then in terms of the reports that we received that investigation report, as I think as communicated to you guys. So we just got it late last night, Thursday. So we just quickly review it. And then just to, kind of give you, I guess, a summary. It's just, I mean, the overall investigation is still ongoing. There's some, the initial cost for it, for that pump that wasn't working from the start. It seemed that it was like a feeding that was loose in the pump. And then there was other stuff that added on to that. So that's all summarized on the investigation report with the SOP for the BIPAX crew. And kind of their what they do in terms of where they commute all the way from commuting to work to maintaining those pumps, is to make sure that they're operated 24/7. So that's the investigation report that was shared with you guys this morning, or I guess the past hour. I think the commissioner also wanted the certification of insurance for Horizon. That was also provided this past hour, so we got that and we send that over as well. And then the other the other thing that we'll talk about that is the claim process one pager that was requested. So that's also was submitted to you guys. So those are the updates that I have in terms of the project site and what we submitted earlier today.
So thank you, Alan. Really quickly, I do, while we're on the topic of the project, I just want to make a point that we've been made aware that maybe one or more residents have been speaking with the contractors while on site. I just want to specify, please, 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 we just want to let the folks get the work done. I know you guys want us out of the neighborhood. We want to wrap this up as quickly as we can. But if the contractor, if they're getting sidestepped by speaking with residents who are approaching them with any kind of communication, it only just takes away from getting the work done. So I do want to stress, please let the folks get the work done in the field so they can get this work done and we can get out of there as soon as we possibly can. We just want to make that request. And touching on the claims document, to Alan's point, we did provide the document. We certainly heard the community that there needed to be some sort of a one-pager that kind of highlights what the process is. So we have provided that document. I will also say that moving forward, we aren't at liberty to discuss any of these individual claims matters moving forward. We have been advised by our upper management that these details are private and they could potentially result in litigation. So we won't even be able to participate in these meetings in this forum as we have been doing in recent weeks, because these are sensitive matters. And that's pretty much all we have. Ms. Jackson, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, yes. I'm sorry. Could you repeat what you said? You're no longer able to share what type of information or I'm sorry.
These
Go ahead.
claims matters.
Uh-huh.
So really, as part of DC Water's policy, when it really gets to the point of claims and things like that, we really aren't supposed to be discussing claims matters really in open forums like this anyway. We understand the situation as it were. So we certainly wanted to make sure that we gave the community what has been requested, and that one of the things, and that is that one pager. So we certainly encourage you to use that one pager as a guiding document and moving forward to either work with ServPro or your own remediation contractor, whatever you choose. You certainly are at liberty to do so. Certainly use that document as a guide, but we will no longer be able to participate in these meetings, in this forum, and discussing these claims matters.
Thank you for that, Mr. Briggs. Can you tell me, do you expect to have any other additional reports? You said that that's on a final report. Do you anticipate any additional reports?
Alan, you want to
Yeah, so I mean, it's detail on that document, right? Their United Rentals, the overall is still ongoing, and there's also, I just got it literally about the same time as you guys got the report, so there's going to be, some questions and comments from that report that'll be some follow up. So yes, there's going to be. This is not, as per that document, it's not the final investigation report, final document.
Okay, go ahead, Kelsey.
Hey, Tom, let me just, Emmanuel, your statement that, DC Water wouldn't participate, is that because this is not going through DC claims process and DC Water is not having any part in this? But yet Fort Myer, United Rentals, whatever
Really,
their process would still hold these meetings?
Yeah, no. We will not be participating in these meetings moving forward. Discussing claims processes in general is just not advisable. So these are individual matters. Each property and how we look at things, each property has a separate matter that needs to be addressed. I know we came into this with more of kind of a blanket approach to kind of the entire, block of impacted customers. But in our work, and I won't say the real world, but in the claims world, these matters really should be handled on a case-by-case basis individually and really not discussed on these open forums like these meetings. So that's why we've been advised by our upper management that we can no longer participate in these meetings like this to discuss the claims process. But we understand that the community still needed that pager document, sort of as a guide. So we certainly wanted to make sure among those other documents, we provided the community with that document.
Okay. And does that mean that Fort Myer as well and their contractors also would not participate in this forum?
Yeah, these meetings really should be and will be, well, as far as DC, when I say DC Water, that
you're implying Fort Myers as well.
Unless they want to continue, sorry, Alan, unless they want to continue those meetings, I don't want to speak for them, But as far as DC Water, we cannot participate in these meetings moving forward. So unless they want to continue them, and they, they're here on the call, if they want to speak to that. But yeah, as far as DC Water, we won't be able to.
Okay, can we walk through the one pager that you guys put together? Appreciate you guys doing this, just so everybody's clear on the process.
I can share my screen if you guys want. I'm not sure, Emmanuel, how you want to do this.
I can't share my screen. Hold on 1 second. Let me put the email. Bear with me 1 second. We'll slow down. Okay, let me show my screen.
I think Anna had a question there. Those community updates that will still be given, and I guess that's something that we can provide updates on via email.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Not. Oh, yep.
Yep.
No, we can.
Yep. I see
Okay,
it.
Alan.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Oops,
the reason
sorry.
why I'm asking about this pipe project updates is because for 18 months, we got 3 communications, and this should be a lesson for you all that you need to provide weekly, if not bi-weekly updates on what is going on and a timeline for residents. I've asked for this before, both on email since 2024 and verbally, and I am still going to ask you to, I'm holding you accountable for your poor communication, but going forward, I do expect communication, clear communication from you guys very, very regularly, because we deserve that. We have to look at that thing for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, no, that's I guess noted and taken, and we're already working internally how to communicate that better, because a lot of people they don't have access via email. It seems that from the community events that they don't. A lot of people don't have email access, so that's something maybe deliver some flyers around the area so that people are aware of it. So yeah, that's noted and taken, and definitely we're going to do a better job at that.
Alan, what is the update of the site now? We obviously I sent you guys an email last night. We had an issue where the neighborhood was had a strong odor of sewer smell. What are we doing moving forward?
Yeah, so I have a question. I guess, can you provide more details? Was this happening? This was outside odor, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of strange, because usually, odor, because I work at a wastewater treatment plant, so usually odor is like middle of the day when it's hot and humid outside. That's where, the odor spreads more. So I'm surprised that it was, late at night that there was odor, because there was no cleaning happening, right? So I want to say that hopefully it's a one-off, right? Because it's not, it's not something that there's not a lot of flow. At night people are asleep, right? So shouldn't be a lot of flow in those bypass. So odor should not be as bad as it was last night. And I did mention, so we were putting in terms of the sound, we're putting the eco barriers in 16, those pads at 16th and 17th Street in the next few weeks. But then also I'm looking into kind of this big deodorizers. Maybe there are times where there's like more odor than usual. Maybe we could turn those on. I'm just trying to right now internally. I'm trying to figure it out what the timeline, like the lead time for those units are, because they're not really available. It's not equipment that everyone uses. So I do have to check whether or not we have something like that, just to further mitigate that odor. So.
And when do you anticipate us having an answer to that? Because I mean, this has caused at least 2 emergency situations now. If you recall, a couple months ago, we also had both elementary and high schools were evacuated because of the strong smell. So this is an urgent matter that really needs to be addressed for the neighborhood.
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get a hold of the manufacturer to see what their lead time is. So that's been an issue with fortunately everyone is on vacation or not available, because the holidays are approaching. And I know that's not an excuse. I just wanted to make sure that I just need to get their timeline. So as soon as I have the timeline, I'll share that with you. But that's something that I'm looking into in terms of have those units on site. So what there are just they're big units that have a big deodorizer, and that deodorizes the air. So they might not have to be on 100% of the time, but and there are other ways that we could do it. So I'm also looking at other alternatives, but I guess I just want to make sure what's the fastest way for you guys to have that something as soon as possible.
Sorry, Kelly. Well,
No,
could you just update us on by next week by this time on what information, if any additional information you know about that?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Thank you.
That's reasonable. That's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah. Alan, can you help us understand how this odor is occurring and like how it can be like in an individual home? Like what's happening? And was it in multiple homes last night or just one home? And can you help explain that?
So I wasn't there, but I guess I'm Tom. I'm not sure if you want to add some background on that.
Yeah, Miss Jackson, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you mind?
So, yeah, so around 9:30, I started noticing an odor, and honestly, I thought maybe the dogs had eaten something bad or whatever. So I didn't really pay a huge deal of attention to it. But my daughter says, "Mom, the fire department is outside for some reason." That was around 9:30, and that was when I initially smelled the odor, and I didn't really give it any thought because I was in a meeting online, and I just kept smelling it, and the smell was getting stronger and stronger, and I turned on the air purifiers in the house or whatever, and tried to sleep through it, and the smell just overwhelmed my entire bedroom. I went downstairs. The smell was in the living room. And I opened the front door. It was outside. And you're right, Alan. I mean, typically I smell those smells on warmer days. In the summer around here, it smells like a swamp. So that was very unusual. I called 911. The fire department came out. They noticed it as well. They came into my home and tested for natural gas, and they didn't find any evidence of natural gas. But when I turned on one of my air purifiers, which is a very strong air purifier, it turned red immediately, signaling that there was some substance or something in the house that was a little stronger than my regular household odors or whatever. So the fire department did come, and they also recognized the smell, and I'm thinking that maybe somebody even called earlier and that's why they were in the neighborhood. I'm not real sure. So that's why I called. The smell was so strong, my eyes started burning, my lips started tingling a little bit. The firefighter came in, he checked me out, and the more I kept the front door open, the smell kind of subsided out of my house. But then I ran my what do you call it, the thing over my oven, I forget
The vent,
what's
the hood.
the off. Yeah, exactly. I ran that all
Vent.
night to kind of just
Mhm.
keep it out the house. So that's what happened this morning. So needless to say, that the project across the street is just it's it's the project that just keeps giving, but not in a good way.
And I would
that's-
add that I also too smelled the strong odor as well as
And it's the strong odor being like the sewage smell, like the
Yeah.
office
It smelled
down
like rotten
Southwest.
eggs and
Okay.
fireworks.
Yeah.
That's what it
Okay.
smelled like.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the fire department also notated that will notate it in their report that they too could smell
Smelled
it
it.
as well.
So Ellen, what can you guys do? Like, is there, I know you have like machines that can measure vibrations and things like that. Is there some device that will measure whatever the term is for the aroma and set off an alarm? Is there something that could be done there? And maybe this question is to Emmanuel too. And then my bigger question is, how did it get in her home, right?
And that's a good question, Kelly, because
Yeah.
when we were notified that the project was about to begin, they were just waiting for permits. We weren't afforded the opportunity for any type of pre-construction survey to take place in our homes. And I have
Yeah.
noticed that my front door sticks now. My home is pretty well insulated, but that smell to come in the way it did, I have no idea. The only thing I can attribute it to is, maybe the house is shifting a little bit with all the jackhammering and everything that's going on outside with the lead replacement in front of my home as well.
Mhm.
And so now the smell is that smell last night, it just overwhelmed my entire home. So I don't know what's the difference between 5, 6 months ago, other than maybe a pre-construction survey would have, at least given us
Yeah.
some idea of, oh no, Miss Jackson, your door is already off track or your windows are already off track. And maybe, so you're going to experience this, whereas I didn't have that problem before.
Because there is jackhammering and digging going on, excavating, right?
No, ma'am, not for this
No.
project. Not under Fort Myers, not on this project, not for us. No, ma'am.
Okay.
The only thing
How
we're
are you
doing
get-
at this point is
Yeah.
bypassing and it's the cleaning. There's no jackhammering involvement. If somebody else is doing that on the street, that's not Fort Myers.
No,
Okay,
it's
was-
Omni Excavators is spearheading the lead. So we have two DC water projects taking place right now on our street. We have the lead pipe replacement program, and then we have the ongoing project across the street. So that's where I'm saying that
So there's
the jackhammer.
jackhammering from the lead.
Yeah,
pipe
but
replacement
also
stuff.
the what is it, the trucks that are back and forth, carrying all the stuff, and now we have more trucks on the railroad tracks, where it used to be railroad tracks, where we have more like huge trucks and equipment on the railroad tracks, and they're going back and forth all day. So I'm thinking that all of this happening at the same time is definitely having some impact on a row of homes that were built,
Yeah.
1938.
And are
So-
you closest to the site, Ms. Jackson?
I
Are you
can,
one
I
of the
look out the
houses
window, I can,
closest to?
Fairlawn is a one-way street. So the only thing I can look at is the site, the big black pipe and the gentleman walking, checking the line all night. So yeah, and then on top of it, the lead pipe replacement program was also taking place. They've moved down to 1800 block now, Fairlawn, but they were in the 1600 block. So we're just getting like kind of slammed
So,
with
Ms.
DC water
Jackson,
projects.
So, Ms. Jackson, I think I spoke with you when we were there for the site visit on the 26th. I think I handed you my car. I know there was a lot going on at the time, but I think we're the one that you had mentioned that I handed you my car in terms of like the lead pipe replacement. That if you have specific concerns on that, you can email me those, and I will connect with the lead-free DC program, so that they can get you some responses to those concerns. But to George's point, that will be separate. It's not for this, but if you want to email me your concerns, I can connect you with the lead-free team to get you some responses for those inquiries.
Well, they've moved on since, like I said, they're now in the 1800 block. Some of my neighbors did agree to or authorize them to come onto their property line and dig up and put in the new pipes. However, if you were standing in front of my home on the 26th, and you can see that I have my front yard is no longer dirt. It's a patio now. It's a full patio, and they wanted to knock that down and dig through that, and I refused to give them authorization to do that. So they have not replaced any lead pipes in my home yet because there's a full
Yeah.
patio there.
Oh, okay.
But Emmanuel, like, well, there might be digging with the lead pipe replacement. That has nothing to do with sewage though, right? So the smell of sewage wouldn't be because of
No, we're
that,
talking,
right?
yeah, we're talking about the
Yeah.
other concerns,
Yeah.
with them digging in the block. So even if
Right,
they've, even if they've moved on, from a block as far as the lead-free
Mhm.
program, you can, if
Yeah.
there's some concern, you can still send those to the lead team to take a look to see if there's something that can be done. So even if they're not
Mhm.
active in the block, if they've now moved on, that doesn't mean that there's nothing more
Mhm.
that can be at least looked into. So I still invite you to email me if you have some specific concerns regarding what could have been connected to digging in the street for the lead program. Never hurts to, to ask and check into it, and I can still forward those concerns in your own words to the lead program.
Okay, I
Great.
appreciate that because the
Yeah.
number that we were provided on the little hang tags on our door, whenever I called, no answer, just ring, 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 no answer. So if you can
Yep.
provide me with your email, I'd appreciate that. I had your card, but I had several cards that day, and I don't know
No
where they are
problem.
anymore.
I will drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Ms.
And then
Williams?
just back to the sewage
Yeah.
smell. I guess I'm Alan, I'm really asking this question because if it was permeating her residence, is there a possibility something is leaking beneath her home or up through her sewage lines? And is that possible?
So I guess that's what I was curious to know. Is this just coming from the outside? If it's coming from the outside, that's something, we can look into and provide some sort of ways to mitigate the outside odor. If it's something inside, that's a separate question. So,
Mr. Jackson, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, Miss Williams, I'm gonna give you the opportunity. I'm gonna give you the floor because you've had your hand raised for a while now. Ms. Jackson, if I may ask, and you can answer after Mrs. Williams, does it smell? Does the odor? Does it smell now or still smell?
No, I've been outside this morning to let the dogs out. I opened the door several times today and no smell. Just last night it was just uncontrollable. I have no idea where it came from, but the fire department smelled it. Tom smelled it when he came up. Ron was outside speaking with the fire department, so I'm not sure if the smell came into his house as well. But
did.
okay, there you go.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know where it came from.
And have you
I mean,
guys ever had it happen before where it came into your actual homes?
No.
not to this
I-
degree. Not to
Okay.
this degree.
And
Lately,
I would
it's
also-
gotten worse.
I would also chime in to add several residents on 18th Street have complained about this very same issue.
Hmm.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I just want to add on to what Cynthia was saying. We had spoken on it before about the doors sticking. I had noticed that my doors were sticking a lot as they were working on the project in the street. My doors had never stuck before, and I got to throw my body up against the door now to close the door. So I just want to know where that came from. Could have been a possibility of what they were working on, anything like that. Also, we were supposed to give permission to have our streets dug up. I mean, our front yard dug up. I came home. When I came to the house, I was informed that my yard was being dug up, and I didn't give permission. A young lady came through that Monday when ServPro and Brian Corbett was there and told me about it. I said, I'll let you know. Next thing I know, my yard is dug up. I never gave permission to have my yard dug up.
And
Yeah,
Emmanuel,
you
I
definitely
know.
need to talk to Emmanuel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Emmanuel,
Yeah.
that's a very good point because I want to bring out the point that Omni excavators were the excavators that were doing the work, and their mannerism was very what do you call it, like intimidating. They were standing out in front of my house as if we're going to knock this wall down and this patio down, regardless of what she says. And I'm not kidding. I opened my front door. I said, "Can I help you all?" And they're like, "No, no," just very dismissive. No, like we're going to knock down your your patio, whatever. And that's how they were when they started the saw cutting. They never even gave us the courtesy of letting us know so that we could move our vehicles. So our vehicles were coated with cement dust and cement, mud and whatever. And I said, do, should we move our vehicles? Oh, no, 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 no. But the next day our vehicles are coated. So Omni excavators, I don't know who's in charge of them or whatever, but they were just like a loose cannon when they were on our block, just very disrespectful. They had lunch. Somebody treated them to lunch last Friday. They all ate on the sidewalk in a group, about 7 or 8 of them, and left all of their lunch containers on the sidewalk in a big pile, along with other stuff. And when the leaf cleanup guys came through, they blew some of it into the street. Their attitude was just very flippant, like either get your lead pipe replaced or not. I mean, or else, we're going to be kind of mean towards you. And they left that trash right there in front, out. And it was sitting there for like 3-4 days over the weekend. And they just left it there. And then I think on Tuesday or something, somebody from Omni Excavators trucks finally came and scooped whatever was left up, but they left it sitting there all week. To me, it felt like kind of like thumbing their nose, like, you're not doing what we need you to do, so forget Fair Lawn. That's kind of how I felt about it. So Omni Excavators has just been horrible.
Okay.
I've asked them why did they dig my yard up. They told me because I have the water meter for the block in my yard and they're moving it to the sidewalk. But later when I came back, this water meter is still in my yard after they threw the dirt back all over the place. They told me they were moving it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can take it out of my yard. But the water meter is still there. I don't understand.
Okay, I do want to say
Again, so just one time again, I invite you to please, I did put my email also on the chat. I invite you to please email me these concerns and I will get as soon as I get your emails. I'm very diligent about follow-ups and responding. I'll respond right away once I get your email, and I will connect that with our lead-free DC program. And I can promise you that they will respond to you with some feedback and get you some responses.
Okay.
And then Alan, what are your thoughts to going back to the actual concern of the smell in their individual houses?
Yeah, I mean, if it's coming from outside, it's not something that it's from within the house. If it's coming from outside, it's something we can take a look. And like I said, there are ways to mitigate it. It's just a matter of, there is a fine line, which like if I had more equipment there, right, I'm adding more guys, and then there's going to be more noise because that equipment creates noise, right? So I'm like maybe taking care of the odor, but at the same time, now you have more noise, right? So it's I want to make sure that whatever we put can help you guys, but also not add more issues to it, right? Because that equipment also needs to be operated by people, right? So it just logistically just adds more to it, right? So but I guess I'll let you know. I just need to meet with Fort Myer and then just trying to figure out a way that we can find the quickest way to at least mitigate that odor, especially like you said, if there's times where it's too much, then we can probably turn that equipment on, right? To help mitigate that. So that's something that we can do from the outside. And like I said, I started getting some quotes. I just want to make sure that what the lead time is, because that's the critical part with everyone. The holidays approaching. I just want to make sure that they could get that equipment can get here as soon as possible, and we have manpower to do it, right? So that's something I can, and I already started looking. It's not like, when you told me about the odor, because we did cover the manhole openings, and I think that helped a little bit. But then it seems that we still have some complaints, right? So, and that's when I was like, all right, maybe we want to look into putting actual equipment there. But then when I was looking into that, this whole thing happened, and that just kind of, but that's still something that I owe you, and I just have to follow up. So that's fine. I'll try
I
to
appreciate it. And
give you a timeline early next week. So at least to see what we can do for now in the immediate steps.
yeah, since we're going to be discontinuing these, I just want to make sure that there's sort of deadlines of whether it's you have information or you don't have information. At least there's some sort of communication. I'd appreciate that.
And I was going to say to Ms. Sandoval's point, I think Ms. Sandoval's point, we certainly, by these meetings been discontinued, we certainly don't mean that to say that we're going to stop communicating about the project itself. We're going to continue providing you with updates. To Alan's point, we will be providing updates on this project. We still understand that many other concerns have emanated from the projects that we certainly want to keep you in the loop on, status and how it's coming along.
Thank you, Ms. Gross. Thank you. One quick question to follow up on the work that still has been done and continues to be needing done. I know Ms. Jackson is still without her boiler. It was notated that the work with Ms. Montgomery's office, or excuse me, house, was completed without obtaining any of the DC permits for that. Any reason why that occurred, and are we going to make sure that doesn't happen with all the other properties?
Yeah, I can answer that, Alan, if you like.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, with Ms. Montgomery, being that we had a meeting on Friday and there was a need because of the cold days coming in, there was a need to immediate attention. And so we try to apply. It's not something you can go online and schedule right away and boom, you get the permit. So the inspection permit, everything will be provided. Hopefully by next week, there'll be inspection and they'll be forwarded to you guys as well. But because we got an okay to proceed on Friday night and Saturday morning, we had the schedule for Monday to do the work, and it took Monday and Tuesday. And I'm not going to go into details why it took so long, but Mrs. Montgomery, she was informed with the reason why, but it has since been completed, and now the inspection is next week to take place. So, and from now on, every unit that needs to be replaced, and that's why Ms. Jackson's. I think Rob already spoke to you this morning. We were trying to get the permitting today and everything else, but I think now it got pushed to Monday. I'm not sure if that's communicated with you, Ms. Jackson, or not. I'm not sure. Please advise.
Ms. Jackson, do you have anything to follow up on that? Are you okay with that being pushed to Monday? Obviously. Okay. Alan, as far as if the smell is apparent as strong as it was again last night, is there rather than calling in EMS or fire, should we be calling and I called the central command office right away even before I got onto the scene, but what's the proper and what can be done, or is it just a matter of we just have to put up with it and let it pass?
That's a good question. So I think it's always, I guess, it's best practice to email the command center, right? So it's just proper notification, and it just to log that, right? It's just kind of for reference. But you can also let us know. It's like, hey, and that's fine. We can always, we'll let you know. Hopefully, I mean, I'm hoping this doesn't happen as often as, I'm hoping it doesn't happen at all, because it shouldn't, especially late at night and at that time. But if it does, yeah.
Yes, command center. I was going to say the same thing. Definitely any water or sewer emergencies, just in general. I know because projects are happening there in the neighborhood. And I can tell you honestly, and I'm really being honest, there's sometimes issues will happen in a block, and it just happens while we are there doing projects, and some issues have nothing to do with the projects. Things just happen. But anytime you have a water or sewer emergency, one of those points of contact is always our 24-hour command center. You can call at the 202-612-3400, or you can email them.
Man, I think your mic went out.
I'm sorry.
But Alan, I think Alan email it. Give me 1 second. I think Mr. Donahue is asking the question. What should you do about if the smell like you did last night was very strong odor? What does he do? What is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to just let it go, wait it out, see what happens? Because at this point, you can, Mr. Allen, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to provide him with a response next week. What can be done? As you spoke before, We can provide it equipment. It's like a sprays like a fragrance, like Febreze, but that equipment, it's going to make more
Oh.
noise. So all these things got to take in consideration. So I think that's what he's looking for. What does he do? Who does he call? Or does he just write an email, and say, hey, we have continued to have this problem?
Can I jump in? I think you guys need to have somebody available in the moment, right? Given what's happened here on the 26th. So I don't think people need to continue to suffer and experience this more than the amount of time that they have. So you need to have a team available to investigate this. I don't think Febreze is going to squash the smell. I think there's got to be an investigation into what's causing it and what's making it go into the homes.
Because I'm having health concerns. My daughter is saying she's having more headaches now. And she and I are more stuffy now. So I'm just wondering about the health concerns because my eyes started burning, my lips started tingling, and I was like, let me get into some fresh air. So I opened the back door, just to let some fresh air come into the house. So I'm wondering, like, long term, what this may be doing to us. Just a little backstory. Back in 2019, I worked down at Blue Plains at the DC Waterworks Job Center. I managed the job center to provide employment to Ward 7 and Ward 8 residents. And our trailer just happened to be right beside those tanks with all the funky water in it. One day I came into the trailer and it was filled with the exact same type of smell. And immediately I was told by my employer at that time and Mr. Gus Bass, who was general manager, Miss Jackson, evacuate that trailer as soon as possible. And they came and put some type of lockout tag out on it. And I had to work from home for the remainder of my tenure at the job center. So I'm just wondering, like, long term, what this stuff could be doing.
Yeah, and I think maybe we need to loop in Department of Energy and Environment just to kind of do some air quality testing to see, is it toxic, and then I think you need to also just see your doctor and from a medical standpoint, figure out what you need to do going forward. But I think clearly an incident occurred, and I don't think and I don't know the history here, but I guess Tom, Cynthia, did you guys ever experience it coming into your homes like that, the way you did last night previously?
Ever since I've lived on Fairlawn, but I purchased my house in 2000, September 2000. So we've always had like swampy smells coming from the general area where what's going on or whatever.
Yeah.
There's always been like moldy, swampy smells, and you just kind of get used to it, whatever or whatever. But to answer your question, the smell that was in my home last night, no, I have never had that smell come into my home.
Okay.
And it was a concern for me because yesterday there was exceptional amount of movement and noise and whatever all was going on, vibrations and things like that going on at the project for the past 2-3 days. Just a lot of movement and bright lights and people and trucks and everything going on. And then when I called the fire department last night for that smell, all the trucks and lights and people were gone. So I was like, did they hit something and left and didn't realize they knocked something or, something, they hit something and something released? I'm not sure, but that's the strongest that I've ever smelled it.
Yeah.
Can someone on this side speak to the smell? Or is it harmful? No one has said anything.
So it's a breakdown of organic matter, right? So whenever you have, when you flush your toilet, of course it smells, right? That's the same smell, right? That rotten egg smell. So it's just the breakdown of organic matter, and that causes that smell. And usually, like I said, I work at a wastewater treatment plant, and usually low concentrations, is just the smell when you go to the bathroom and people flush the toilet. That's just the smell that you smell. But it usually shouldn't be to the level that you guys experienced last night. So that's something that I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. It's a one-off, but it shouldn't be that at that point at night. So that's something that I'll look into it. What was the cause of it? Because I don't understand why it was so high. So
yeah, and I would just recommend that there's a person on call, and I don't know if it's from United Rentals, Fort Myer, DC Water, or somebody, if this were to happen with multiple homes, so that you guys could muster an investigation in the moment to be able to figure out if it happens again, right? I think looking into it is fine, but I think if it happens again, I don't think you want to wait till the next day, right?
Alan, I think you need to speak on that matter because if it's smell, there's nothing to track back to unless there's a leakage, of course, and that's why they're pumped. The technicians that are there to watch the units. But I mean,
Well, and
not
it might be that your investigation shows there was, right? So I guess like look into it and
Yeah.
then see if that is the source of it. But if and when it does happen again, I just think you're better off if you have somebody available to.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's the same as when you flush your toilet. From what she described in the fire department and Tom, that seems a lot worse than the swampy smells that they've had over the years. So I
Mhm.
would just caution to mitigate the risk.
Okay.
Go out in the moment but give Commissioner Donahue who that point person is going to be that's going to get woken up or contacted, right? If they're calling the fire department, it's got to be something.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
we and if if we had to evacuate 2 schools, it had to be something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Alan, I'll expect. I'm assuming I'll hear a follow up from you on this and what steps you guys are going to take to either to investigate it further.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on me. Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
And then on the one pager, we were going to go over that. I happened to read it a moment ago. Similar to what was in the email from Mr. Hebb, who represents the interests of United Rentals insurance provider. What it doesn't say though is who is United Rentals insurance company and what is that claim process? One of the residents asked about including a cost for her stress and time and somebody else for their lost revenue from renting out their property, etc. And I believe Mr. Hebbs indicated, no, you can't include that. Well, that's not true, right? These people are entitled to claim what they want to claim, and then that's a negotiation with the insurance company. So Mr. Hebb trying to come out front and control all of that, I think is part of why I'm on this call, because
So,
that doesn't
Kelly-
seem fair to these
So
residents.
Kelly, again,
Mhm.
we cannot discuss individual claims matters on these open forums, which is why we provided this document. If there are
Mhm.
questions about it, customers can certainly follow up individually, but this is not the forum to discuss individual claims. We've already gone
Mhm.
beyond what really
Well,
our policy allows and what our upper
Uh-huh.
management allows. We cannot discuss individual claims matters on these open forums.
and you're saying you also cannot provide what the insurance company and claim process is for United Rentals? Because I don't believe, has anybody
We
received that
can't
here?
discuss that. We can't discuss anything regarding individual claims on these open forums. And so they can certainly, as we've been saying from the beginning of this process, if customers certainly can reach out to Mr. Hebb directly, but we cannot discuss these individual claims on these open forums, which is why we mentioned that we can't even participate. DC Water cannot even participate in these calls moving forward. So we understand their concerns, understand lingering concerns and questions. I'm just saying that this is just not the forum where we are even allowed to discuss them. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm. And just out of curiosity, I'll ask the question of Fort Myers then. How come United Rentals isn't on this call?
So there's a lot of things that took place during this 26th event, and
Mhm.
therefore they hire some counseling and so forth. Because of that, that's why they're not on these calls. Because these calls once again, they're being recorded.
Mhm.
That's why they're not here. However, if you can, I mean, we scroll down to that one page.
Mhm.
All the estimates have been provided, including Mr. Montgomery. I
Mhm.
received an email today that he was provided as well, the 2 estimates. So everyone has been given the 2 estimates for the repairs. And I believe Anna Sandoval, I think you're on the call here. I believe he reached out to you as well. I believe that's the one you're in question about the rental. Please, once again, this is not the the form. Emmanuel already said that. There's a process here below the last page, I believe it is. If you scroll down, you'll see it. What the process should look like and what, the steps should take.
That is exactly what Mr. Hebb, who is with SEMS, who is representing the insurance provider for United Rental. But I don't see anywhere where any of the residents have been given the insurance company for United Rental. Like, do we know, is it Liberty Mutual? Is it State Farm? Is it Lloyd's of London? Did they have that information? So if they don't want to work through Mr. Hebb and they want to file a claim directly, that they have that information. They may choose to seek their own legal counsel, just like United Rental, right? They would need that claim process information. So that's what I'm asking Fort Myer for that, since I understand it's not going through DC Water.
Okay. The only thing I can do is ask for that.
Never get more than what you ask for, and then you let us know what they come back with. But, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody on this call, the residents, have you received that information about United Rentals insurance provider?
No, I
Did
asked
not.
Mr.
Okay.
I did request that from Mr. Hebb. I asked him for a policy number as well as
Right.
insurance company.
We
And I
all
was
have
told-
requested that too. I mean, it's been requested multiple
Okay.
times.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important, Alan, that Fort Myer work with your contractor to get that to these residents. Right at this point, it's pretty critical for these individual homeowners, and then they can make informed decisions what they need to do. But I think they've expressed the concerns that they have and how things have been handled.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate everyone's time. The last thing the last thing and I know I mentioned it before, but I just want to be on the record to ask that this be completed. Can we get the waste basins in the Fairlawn community emptied, please, in a reasonable period of time? Most of them are jammed, packed to the top. I know it's unrelated, but while I have DC Water on the line, can we please make that a priority?
You mean the catch basins you said?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Can you send can you send me like the map, like the exact catch basin, so they can just go, like, do you know which ones there are, or just the entire area?
The entire area has not been done in quite some time, and they're all full.
Okay. Yeah, I thought
I mean,
didn't they clean that a few months ago?
They
Remember
cleaned
that?
one, but they haven't. They just cleaned out the one specific that I had seen. But since then, I've been walking through and seeing, and it's. I mean, they all need to be done.
That's yeah. I'll give
Literally from Boone Elementary to Anacostia High School.
Okay. What's the name of the elementary school again?
Boone Elementary to basically from Nicholson all the way down to 16th Street.
Okay.
All right, and so everybody has the information of who to contact for any further issues, because this will be our last meeting, and I see a couple of Miss Jackson, Miss Williams, Ronnie. Do you have any other further questions, or do you understand the process?
Well, from what I'm understanding from Mr. Briggs, since DC Water cannot provide any type of advice or anything, because now we're going into the next phase of working on estimates and things like that, then is there any real reason that we need to continue to have these meetings with DC Water? From what I'm understanding, correct?
No, yeah,
Okay.
you're right. Yep, yep.
Okay, so
But do you
going
understand the
forward-
process? Do you understand the process that they've laid out, and are you okay with that process?
I'm sorry, was it on the PowerPoint or something?
It's on the one sheeter.
I didn't see the one sheeter. You mean the
Well-
page that was just okay, I must be.
And
missing
also
something.
knowing that you've all asked for the insurance company and policy claim process from United Rentals.
I was told by Mr. Hebb that there's a multi-layered insurance company's involved. This is what I was told when I asked for the policy number and the insurance company. I was told that there's multiple insurance companies involved, so it's multi-layered, but there is money there to help us out. This is kind of what he told. This is basically what he told me. He did not provide me with a policy number or one insurance company. I said, just give me one insurance company, just like you just named several. Just give me one. I can't, Miss Jackson, I can't give you an insurance company. There are several insurance companies involved in this, blah, blah, blah. So that was it. That was the information that was provided to me.
Well, we
So-
can also check with Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection. United Rental should have that on file with DLCP when they get a license. So that's the other way to get that information.
If I may add, just Ms. Jackson, this is Adam with Fort Myer. Mr. Ebb's explanation is the closer thing I can get you to what you just said to explain to what's happening. There are multiple insurance policies and companies that United Rental deals with. So the setup that there is right now is he will handle those claims. We will ask if any of that information that you ask for can be provided, but that's the process. And I don't want to speak too much on DC Water behalf, but we're not leaving you hanging. If something doesn't go through with Mr. Ebb, you can always email Joyce and she will bring it to the attention of DC Water, and we can communicate with the United Rental team.
Adam, are you with DC Water or Fort Myer?
I'm Fort Myer.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I don't feel that we're being left hanging. I understand what Mr. Briggs is saying. DC Water is limited in what they can do now that we're going into the actual next phase, which is, getting into estimates and each resident having their own situations they have to kind of work out for themselves, along with the Mr. Hebb and whatever. And you can also seek your own counsel and things like that. I totally understand. But I mean, my interest is just to get my home restored and and get as much information as I need to be able to get that done.
I can assure you that's everyone's goal too.
Musa?
Yes, Ms. Jackson, thank you very much. My suggestion, you guys just received that pager that explained the process for this claim, and you didn't have a chance to look at it. My suggestion is to let these residents look at it. If they have questions, so they can be addressed, and then the process just clarified for them before we just say we're going to stop these meetings. That's my suggestion here, because if we say we don't need this meeting, which I agree with Emmanuel as far as DC Water concerned, but if we gave them that pager, they need to understand every step. And the pager was distributed to them only during the meeting. I don't think anybody had a chance to go through it.
I didn't understand what page they were talking about. So Tom, if you could provide that, I appreciate it.
Then we need to give them time to look at it, and if there are clarification there, so we can get it back for Maya and Mr. Hebb to clarify it. And once now they understand the full process, so then we can say, okay, now you guys have what you need and take it from me. That's my suggestion.
And I've already provided that to all the residents. It was emailed at the very top of the meeting, because I literally got it 5 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah, that's why
I mean, it was very similar to what Mr. Hebb said himself. It's just not what I had asked for.
Okay, without any other questions or concerns from the community or from any of the entities, we'll go ahead and end this conversation. Ron, did you have something?
I did. I brought up the backwater valve program last call, and it was the conversation was welcomed. And I can't remember the gentleman who spoke on the behalf of DC Water. He did tell me that the program was no longer in service or being offered, but he would look into it. And I did that on purpose for it to be on the record. But if this is gonna be the last call, I would like an update on that.
So that was Mr. Miles, and there are no updates. Yeah,
Okay.
there are no updates to that. All I can tell you is that we have gotten, as you can imagine, requests for backwater valves since we closed the program, because I mean customers are, backing up pretty much all over the city. But as of now, I'm not aware of any plans to reinstate that program. But if there are plans at some point to do so, we will certainly be doing a reach out, a campaign like we did, initially. We will be certainly doing a campaign to let customers know that the program is up and running again, and please, take part in the program should that happen. But as of right now, there are no plans that I'm aware of to reinstate that program.
Ron, I would make the recommendation that making that part of your individual claim process that be.
And I think you're right. It definitely can be, but it should be something that's offered to us, considering what happened. Because I know it was offered to other residents because of what happened in this situation, and that's why the program, from what I read about it, was even brought to be. And considering we're having this project, and it's ongoing, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon, and a situation like that can happen again. And it was already proven that 2 homes on the block had the backwater valve, and they didn't get backed up with sewage. I understand the gentleman saying that it's not a thing that's being discussed, but maybe it should be, and maybe a little bit more urgency about it will be appreciated as well from the homeowners. Not just a situation of if it comes up, and if we do bring the program back, we'll make sure you guys know about it and you can sign up. That's
all I can tell you, Mr. Miles, is that your comment and your request has been recorded. It is a matter of record, and that will be communicated to upper management. That I can tell you for sure.
Okay.
Thanks, Ron.
Hey, Manuel,
go ahead, Kelly.
Just out of curiosity, how many households are there that do you have these numbers, like don't have the backflow preventer?
We don't have those numbers. We don't have those numbers.
Okay. Just trying to gauge what the cost would be. Yeah.
I actually had one last matter. Many of the residents had expressed concerns about Santa. Do we know what his status is, and is he going to continue to be working on this project?
Moving forward, wherever the residents, if they choose to use Serpro, it will be dealing with Kevin.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys, everyone. I appreciate your times. I appreciate you making yourselves available. And Alan, I'll look forward to.
I apologize. George.
Yes.
Did George say that? Hey, George. Hey. So Serpro did, just real quick. Serpro did provide space heaters for my house. They provided a huge one for in the basement. I just texted you this information. I'm only bringing it up because I texted Kevin just now, not too long ago, saying the space heater in my basement is blowing out cold air, and upon further inspection, it has a danger tag on it saying "Do not use," does not heat up, or something like that. So I unplugged everything. I told Tom about this earlier. I just found the danger tag on it, and I texted Kevin and said, Kevin, the heater in the basement is not working any longer. Will you be bringing me a new one? And he said, Miss Jackson, Santa will be getting back to you on that. So who will be getting back to me on it? Kevin or Santa? And who's going to bring me another space heater for my basement, because it's freezing and that's where the pipes are?
Yeah, I texted. So dealing with the residents for the restoration work should be Kevin. Because of the all this misunderstanding, miscommunication, whatever. However, everyone saw it from Mr. Santa. But I'll reach out to Serpro about that as soon as I got your text message. So I'm waiting for a response back, and I'll provide that to you as well. Because these units that were provided, these units were rented out from a known source, a very reliable source that they use. Like a Sunbelt, I'm not sure where they got them from, but that's where they got these 110 volt heaters, I think they were. or there are big heaters to be able to warm up your house. But I reached out to Santa because he's the one that got the heaters, and I'm waiting for a response back, and I'll provide that to you shortly.
Okay, thank you.
I want to know something, Cherry Williams here.
Yep.
Why are we constantly being lied to over and over again? 1 minute Santa's in and he's out, but he weasels way back in. This is ridiculous. He's being forced down our throats. No one wants him at all. Now we have Kevin, but at the same time, Kevin is referring back to Santa. Why are we constantly being lied to? It's like they just put Kevin as the front now, but Santa's right behind him.
Ma'am, I don't think no one has lied to you.
That's funny because now, like Cynthia just said, she
Okay.
told Kevin, he said he had to get to Santa. I mean,
Okay.
you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, because
the
you're
lies will
saying
be
something,
constantly
ma'am.
going on.
You're saying that I'm lying to you. That's what
No.
you're saying. Why are we being constantly lied to?
Because I was told by Mr. Hebb, we kept being told by Mr. Hebb, oh, we can't get rid of Santa because it would slow the project down.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't think she's saying you, George. I think just
in general,
there's a problem with the communication here.
And
Yeah.
if I may, Ms. Williams, communication is always a very important key. And I think what you also mentioned, Mr. Ebb had communicated with us, is just in the background, companies, the way they operate and they have it set up is Santa is running this job, you know, as far as administratively, and he will have, perhaps Kevin has to run things by him. So the ultimate goal here is to, you know, you need anything, you can communicate to Kevin. He will get you your need met.
I'm going to be honest with you and just share it with you in regards to the community, because I've heard this and I have dealt with Santa myself personally, that there are residents that don't really want Santa involved or profiting from this or dealing with this at all. He's been rude, condescending. I could go on. And so I would, you know, appreciate, you know, the acknowledgement that he has caused concern and stress among everyone. And he's just downright rude and nobody wants to be in his presence or wants him to be around them. So him being continuing to be on this project after all of these strong feedback from the community is disrespectful in my opinion.
Sir, I mean, I hear you, but Mr. Santa is the project manager for this particular incident.
I think you should find another project manager, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, he's still going to manage the job from the outside. Everybody's going to hear from Kevin. Kevin's going to be showing up to your doorstep. I just got a text back. It's going to be swapped. The unit's going to be swapped today, Ms. Jackson. That heater.
Just like I said, he'll be back in the background. He's behind Kevin, so he's there.
George, please try to do your best at making sure like Santa is not in the neighborhood or that he's communicating with individuals at all. I greatly appreciate your understanding with that.
I mean, I hear you. I wish we could have on this call Miss Montgomery. She's got a different opinion, but this is just my saying. But anyways, I'll do my best.
Miss Montgomery wasn't disrespected. I was.
I understand.
I was.
I was disrespected, not Miss Montgomery. I was there in the meeting, and so were you. I was disrespected. I didn't appreciate it. What he said, it was condescending, and I will not stand for that because I did not disrespect that man.
I hear you guys. I'm not gonna. This is not what this meeting is about. I apologize, but I hear you. I'll go back and make sure it does not communicate with anybody.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Mr. Briggs, could you make sure I get a copy of the video when you get it uploaded so I can get it off to everyone? And I thank everyone for your continued patience and your time. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll work on the link now. Thank you.
Thank you.